I'm Stad.
I'm Gib.
I'm Connor.
I'm Bennett.
Today, we take a look at the upcoming U.S. Open at Oakmont, the NBA Finals, and we decide what is the greatest rivalry in all of sports. This is Cafeteria Conversations.
Ring it.
All right, so for what's cooking, we're gonna dive into the NBA Finals first. So we'll hit who we think is gonna win, who we think I think it's fun to do Finals MVP. We'll talk about Finals MVP. There's been some surprising ones past decade, and then we will make our picks for who's gonna win the U.S. Open in golf at the hardest course in America, arguably. So I'll take it to Stad. Stad, who's your pick to take home the NBA Finals?
I think in game one, Indiana won at the buzzer, but they didn't play well in all of game one. Like Oklahoma City led almost wire to wire. Halliburton made the shot at the buzzer to win it, and like I said, Indiana did not play well and still won the ball game. So I got the Pacers. I don't think it's a clean sweep, but I would say 5 or 6.
Could OKC just not keep up with the pace?
OKC led for 43 minutes.
That's
of
what
the
I'm
game.
saying.
Pacers led for
and they led by
0.3 seconds of the game.
Yeah,
which was the end.
Yeah,
In
very
Oklahoma
end.
City, the Pacers did not play well in the first. They turned the ball over what felt like every other possession, and they still came back and won.
Their two leading scorers had 14 points and 19 points. So
And that's not going to
So
be
sharing the wealth.
Yeah, that's not going to be the case the rest of the series. So like I say, Indiana 5 or 6.
Okay. I think the Pacers will win it in 7. Looking at that first game, yes, they didn't like single players didn't score a lot, but when we're talking about distribution, we had 19, 10, 15, 14, 14 just out of the starters. We had someone 17 off the bench.
Yeah.
The ball is distributed well, unlike OKC, who had 16, 17. Shea had 38 points, and then 15 and 6 out of their starters. I think if Pacers lock down Shea in the next few games, I think the Pacers will win it.
Who do you have guarding Shea then?
I have no idea.
I saw.
yeah, I mean, I think that's tough to say because I mean the Thunder are averaging like the third most points ever in an NBA Finals. It's like 117.3. The two teams above them and the two teams below them has won the NBA championship. You have like the 2017 Warriors when the first year with KD, those back-to-back years with KD. One of the years with Cleveland and LeBron. The numbers lead to them winning. And I feel like ultimately in this series, it's going to be one of those series where you got to give Shea his 30. I think wasting time guarding Shea is pretty pointless. I think you give Shea his 30 and test your luck trying to stop Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and those type of guys. But, I'll take Pacers in 7.
I don't know if you can really judge the series off of this game one. Clutch shot from Halliburton. Great. Close game. The Pacers didn't play great the entire time. Did OKC show its brightest colors at home? I don't know either. I felt like it might have been just sort of it's game one. You can't really tell, I feel like, what we're going to know by next week. So I don't know. I think game 2 tells a lot. And we don't have game 2 right now to talk about, but I think OKC comes back and wins it in 6.
So who do you think the MVP is going to be?
I think it should have been Halliburton in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Did you see that clip?
That clip of him walking up
Yeah.
is so funny.
It's terrible, man. Like he hits
awful.
a buzzer beater in Madison Square Gardens.
Yeah.
He basically averages a double-double. He had a triple-double, I think, one of the nights. Was
the no turnovers that series as well? Or no, that was the series prior.
I think that was the series prior.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Siakam
still,
played well.
Siakam did play well,
guy.
but Siakam was not Halliburton in what he was doing.
Yeah.
Especially when it came down to the wire. Tyrese has done this over and over. Now, Siakam is averaging like 2 more points than Halliburton. If that is, if it's a scoring title, it's a scoring title. Let's just call it the scoring title.
It's not the
for
scoring
the
title.
Eastern Conference.
Or it shouldn't be the scoring
Yeah,
title.
but an MVP, most valuable player. You take Halliburton off this Pacers team, they're not there, right? I think if you take Siakam off, they're not in the same spot necessarily, but I think they're more
They
successful
still make
than
the
they were.
playoffs.
Isn't it like 4 buzzer beaters he sent in this run? Like he's won games? Isn't it something like that?
It's it. I know for 2 or 3 for sure.
The
I don't know if
clutch
there's
gene
4th.
is there. He's
And
got it.
if it's not a buzzer beater, it's a go-ahead 3 with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but next we're going to hit the U.S. Open on the hardest course in America, 6-inch deep rough, 18-yard wide fairways. It's cold. It's in Pennsylvania. It's going to be a tough track for a lot of the players. I have Scotty Scheffler winning. Hits most fairways on tour. He's hot. He's kind of off from that rocky start that he had at the beginning of 2025. I'm taking Scotty Scheffler.
With the win in Memorial.
With what score?
I'm thinking it's going to be either like my window's like 2 under to 2 over.
Okay.
I think the winner's going to be somewhere within that.
Really?
Okay.
I mean,
Wow.
right now, most people have the winner projected to shoot 3 over.
That's
And
crazy.
the last time it was at Oakmont in 2016, DJ won it at 4 under, but in 2007, Angel Cabrera won it at 5 over. So
Goodness.
I mean, I think this course is really going to test the players, and I think guys that have big time drivers, I think like DeChambeau, Sepp Straka, they're going to have a tough time, right?
I agree with that.
There's a lot of room for. I mean, there's not a lot of room for error. I mean, they have 18 yards of fairway to hit it. When you're hitting at 370 yards, 350 yards, I think that.
It's hard to be accurate.
Yeah, and your wedge game. If you got a good wedge game, I mean, sure, but 6-inch of rough is 6-inch of rough at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree. I've got a little dark horse pick. I feel like it'd be easy to say Scotty Scheffler, and you've got the most percentage of being right. But give me a sneaky Xander Schauffele. I think he'll play well. I think he'll hit his irons a little bit closer. I don't think he makes too many big mistakes. I mean, like you can say all this about Scotty Scheffler, but I don't know. I think going a little bit against the grain here. I like Xander Schauffele, just kind of a cool, calm, and collected round. Like I say, 2, maybe 3 under through the first 3 rounds, and then I think he posts an even par, just like level-headed score, and he wins it by a stroke or 2 at like 3 under.
It's a good pick. Good pick.
Yeah.
Do you think there's like a possibility that someone somewhere or another like has a really bad round 1 and then somehow
Has
goes
to
like
claw their way back?
Yeah, 2
Not
under
at,
and
not
like-
at this course.
No.
No way.
No, okay. You think someone who's the most consistent is the one that's going to
Right, and that's kind of why I went with like again, Scheffler 80% of the time would be my pick. Just I don't know, something about Schauffele gives me a little excitement.
I just think when things unravel at Oakmont, they're going to unravel quick, and it's
Sure,
going to be
sure.
hard to like. In a lot of courses, there's a lot of like, all right, you got to birdie these holes. I mean, Oakmont's just, I'm sure there's a couple of them, but at the same time, like with the weather up there, like it's just going to be tough to just say that it's a birdie hole today.
Yeah, that's why those like bigger hitters that spray the golf ball, like I think they have no shot.
Well, yeah, spray is a light term. Like
Well,
it's having
relative
1 to 2,
spray it for a
4 to
tour
5
pro.
feet of turn.
Yeah.
My fellow lefty Phil Mickelson, the YouTube golf, has been treating him well. The wellness gummies and all. No, I'm just kidding.
Didn't make the cut at the Masters.
Yeah, I would love to see him make the cut. I don't think he makes the cut, but I think Oberg hasn't won a major yet. I think he is extremely technical. I think he's extremely consistent when he's under high pressure, and I think that's what it's going to be for everybody here. And the person who can stay the most level-headed is going to come out close to the win. I want him to win. I think he'll be in the top 5 for sure. But yeah, I think Oberg's going to get his first major.
I thought you were going to go with your boy Colin.
I love Colin's swing.
I thought totally expecting
And
like
I
the
want him-
irons talk. It's going to get him the win. I was totally expecting.
No,
you to
dude,
say
I
that. was
love
like preparing
Colin's
myself.
game, and watching him at the U.S. Open last year at Pinehurst was amazing. I was like, tempo, everything, crushes the ball. I mean, he's been so close so many times. I don't know if his putting is good enough to get him into the winner's circle. I mean, obviously,
Putting on ice this week. Up there at
so
Oakmont.
I think
He's another one of those guys that's just a super level-headed golfer. So, like, if he's got a big lead to make up, like if he's 4 or 5 behind going into Saturday, I don't think he has a chance.
No.
But if he kind of, stays in the top 3 or 5,
Stays in the hunt.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I like that pick.
I will be very excited if Colin I don't have like a real favorite golfer. If Colin wins, I'll be very excited. If, I'm right in this for the sake of the podcast and Oberg wins, I'll be very excited as well. But
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me comeback player of the year, Rory McIlroy.
Wow.
Coming off his Masters win.
Wait. Why is he comeback player of the year?
hurt. Wait.
He sold the U.S. Open last year.
yeah, but that was last year.
Comeback
Comeback
player of the year, dude. He
Okay.
he lost a he placed second in a major. Like it's not like the guy sucked. Like he's been he's been like the number 2 golfer
He
for
won
like the
a
last
green
4
jacket.
years.
Completed the Grand Slam.
He
I don't-
lacerated a kidney.
He's-
Nobody
yeah.
knows, actually. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I understand you're saying like at the beginning of this year, right? He got him another major. He hadn't won a major since 2013, 2012. Like I get it, but
It's been a
comeback
minute.
player of the year. Like
Didn't he like miss the cut of the next event that he played at after the Masters
Yeah.
or something?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
got-
it's.
But that's your pick, Bennett. You got to stick with
Yeah,
it.
no,
Yeah.
I'm sticking with it. I mean, he's a
I mean,
great
it's not
golfer.
a bad pick. He's second
No,
in
no,
odds. So,
no,
I mean, it's
yeah.
not a bad pick
He's
by
got
any means.
So the guys that we've picked: Scotty
back again.
Scheffler 3-1 odds, McIlroy 8-1, Schauffele 20-1, and Oberg 25-1.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay. So Oberger
Where's
is
Phil?
sixth. Where's Phil?
Where's Phil,
I
man?
wish Phil would win it. My dad's favorite golfer, but I do not think Phil has. I think Phil's done. I think those wellness gummies have.
Phil Mickelson's
Little bit of a
odds.
scam for
Anybody
his golf
want to
game.
guess? Anybody want to guess?
it's
Is it greater or less than the days in the year? The number of days in the year?
It
It's a
is
weird way to
greater than the days in the year.
it's a weird way to
I'm
phrase
not
that
a
question.
I'm
Is
proud
it
of
great?
myself that I understood that.
Sorry,
I'm gonna go
word
like
that very well.
620 to 1.
Okay,
800 to 1.
It can't be 4 digits, is it?
I'm not going to give an answer.
Oh,
So we got 625.
700 and
800.
731.
Wirt is the winner, 500-1.
Oh,
That's really what I thought. Interesting.
dang! You had me thinking it was like 1,002 to 1.
No, 500.
All right. Oh, and we got to take this time we have to, the three, Bennett, Stad, and myself, have to say that we were wrong.
Look at this.
Completely
Hand
and
up
utterly.
accountability.
Accountability.
Softball.
Oklahoma.
They lost in the very first.
Also,
game.
incredible game.
Yes.
By,
Oh,
by
yeah,
to say.
100%.
Tying home run shot
In the
with
last
a
inning.
last inning on a 1-2 count, I think.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I was this close to texting Gibb, just saying like, "We've got a shot."
No,
We've
it
got
was-
one.
Yeah,
It
I
was-
know. Go Raiders, man. I'm happy with my pick. I believed in my pick from day one. Shout out Raiders.
No,
Big
I,
night tonight.
I walked into the living room and Connor was like, "This game's over," and I was like, "They could hit a home run right
Bennett
now."
was
And
like,
they hit
"There's a
home run.
chance. There's a chance." And I was like, "No, the game's over, dude. She's pitching lights out. They've had 2 hits, 3 hits the entire game." And
That
did
home
she-
run was walloped. Too.
Yeah, she
it was
crushed it.
9-hole too. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to a snack of the day. We have Bunt Cakes brought to you by Kelly Wirt Realty. All right. We got Bunt Cakes from Gib. Where are these from again?
Nothing
but bun cakes.
Nothing but Bunt Cakes. All right. Very, very original.
No. Nothing Bunt Cakes.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
Get it? See?
Yeah, yes. But that is the actual name. That wasn't just you
Yeah,
making a
nothing
joke.
Bunt Cake.
Okay, so I've got a lemon and a red velvet. What flavor
what
does
I have
everybody
too.
have? Lemon
Yep,
and red velvet?
lemon and
I've got lemon and a chocolate chip.
I've got
'cause
red velvet and a
your
chocolate.
boy gluten free over here.
Roll Tide. we
Yeah,
support
Roll Tide
that.
gluten free. Props to Nothing Bunt Cake for
We
being
have one of
having
those people.
gluten free.
Are we trying lemon first, Connor?
Yeah, let's go lemon first, Bennett. All right, what are you going first with, Gib?
You went straight into red velvet.
I'll join the lemon train. Very good.
They're really soft,
That's so good.
It's really good.
like moist.
It's cake.
like oddly moist.
Yeah, so I feel like this falls into the dessert category.
how long's this been around? Like
I have
wa-
no clue. I've been getting
Let's do
these all
some-
of high school.
Let's do some research.
What did you think of the
I
red
do
velvet?
not remember them from my
I
childhood.
love it. I love the red velvet. I eat these things all the time.
Is it your favorite flavor for sure?
For sure. I mean, red velvet's my favorite type of cake. That can be a debate for another day. Best cake flavor.
All right. Tradability. Have you ever brought these for lunch? Since I think you've had the most of them, Gib. Have you ever brought a Bunt Cake for, lunch?
sure. But what is that?
Just I think he was trying to say really, but he
leave
had-
it. Leave it in.
Leave it in.
staying
Leave it in.
That's
Leave it in.
so funny.
What was that, dude? Sound like reggae? Like,
Okay, hold on.
were
Little
you trying to say
information.
really?
Yeah, I told
Yeah, I
you.
brought it for lunch maybe like once or twice.
Okay, information on Nothing Bunt Cakes. It was founded in Las Vegas in 1997.
Oh, Zam.
Company started as a way to share homemade bunt cakes with family and friends. It has since grown into a nationwide chain with over 400 locations.
All right,
Wow.
sweet. I say we just rate it. I think tradability is too hard to argue because it's cake.
I mean, it's a
Yeah.
dessert. Like, it's not
One of those things.
Yeah, it's not
again,
not a snack.
I'm
You
not
don't-
trading
yeah.
it.
a good sweet treat, you know? It's a good size for a sweet treat.
It's a good midnight snack.
It's a good. Yeah.
All right,
Good shout,
so
good shout.
the Goulds, Bennett. Let's rank it. Bunt cake.
I'm going 8.4. I think they're good.
Okay.
Dude, I have like the biggest sweet tooth. And you put anything with sugar and like a large amount of sugar in front of it, and it tastes good and it's easy to consume, I'm gonna eat a large quantity of it. This is a 9.
I love that. I love that take. I'll match that. I'll match it with a 9. Red velvet, like a 9.5.
I don't care what flavor,
Near
dude.
perfection.
It's good.
I love red velvet.
Okay,
Good
wait.
gosh,
Pause.
you already ate both of them? No wonder you said woman. Damn, dude.
Wow. Golly.
Dang.
Somebody else
This is not a
Everybody
podcast
else
for
is
bullying.
bullying.
Huh? You cannot bully your fellow hosts.
I'm not bullying. I was just surprised he ate them that fast.
Golly, dude.
There's something wrong with
Wait,
talking about
are you
fast he
saying
ate 'em.
these are higher than Little Bites? Because
he
you talked
said Little
very
Bites
highly.
were 10.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
little
said
bites.
Little Bites
I'm not making fun of
Is
the guy.
there-
I'm
is there a
saying
red-
I'm
I
shocked
feel
he
made
ate them
fun
that
of.
fast. Well, that's fine.
Is there a red velvet Little Bites flavor?
I don't. Probably not. That's a little too bougie for little bites.
I'd give it 8.5. It's a very, very solid. It's like one of the only cakes I can really have consistently. So, and it tastes good.
How
Like,
does
a
it
lot of
measure to other gluten stuff, like other gluten-free desserts?
It's up there, dude. It's up there. There are a lot of places like the Med Deli place in Elon, like they have decent gluten-free desserts. Like obviously the place. I
Shout out
worked
Med
at.
Deli, dude.
Yeah.
We have one of those in Chapel Hill. Love Med Deli.
One day
Yeah.
we should do a gluten-free dessert test.
We 100% should.
We
That'd be
Dude,
great.
when we were in Vienna, they were like, they bring out a cake for all the obviously
This has
non-gluten
happened
people.
twice actually.
And Stad looks at me, they're like, do you want the gluten-free option? And Stad's like, yeah, I'll try it. And he leans over to me, he's like, guarantee it's a fruit cup. And they bring it back. Literally, it's a fruit cup. And I'm like,
So
Rip.
like the first story is we were at a charity dinner with Jones Angel. Jones Angel was hosting for the University of North Carolina Wesley Foundation, and Luke was a big part of that. And we
Great.
were actually at a table with Jones Angel and Adam Lucas, and they were like, "We've got you a gluten-free dessert." Like I was like, dude, I was pumped. I was like, "What's this gonna be?" Like I was ready for like 2 scoops of vanilla ice cream and like a gluten-free cookie or something. I don't know. Fruit cup, just and it was
Jones Angel
only
did you dirty.
it was
He's like,
only cantaloupe and honeydew.
Oh,
Of course, he had
the worst part of the fruit cup.
he had nothing to do with it,
Wait, hold on,
obviously,
hold
but he
on.
thought it was funny. He thought it was
Cantaloupe and
funny.
honeydew is delicious.
I knew. Sure.
Cantaloupe, I can get down with some cantaloupe. Honeydew, disgusting.
Dude, that's the worst part of the fruit cup, though.
Worst
You're
part.
taking like
You're picking around
blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, grapes.
I mean, where did that stuff rank on fruit list for
I
you?
feel like a fruit cup.
well, if he's putting
always-
water polo at number 2 or 1
true.
on his list, I don't know if we can trust his tears.
Bennett, I'm sorry. You're getting attacked today.
I am. I did
I'm
not
sorry.
attack him. I just made it sure that we recognized how fast he ate those things.
Hey, Bennett, I'm with you. I ate mine just as fast.
Thank you. No, you didn't. You still had like 3/4 of one. That dude has been stacked cups
He
the whole
wasn't.
time.
He wasn't talking as much.
That's fine. He still ate them fast.
You're just a slow eater over here. Okay.
I am a slow eater. I own it. You can make fun of me for that.
It's better for the digestive system.
It is.
Exactly.
It is. It is not good to eat quickly.
All right, this is a great time to transition to our main event with what is the greatest rivalry in sports. So how we're going to tackle this, we're going to go current. We're all going to talk about, I think, why rivalries really aren't significant anymore. There's not really any juice behind rivalries. And then we're going to hit what is each of our all-time favorite or what we think is the best for rivalry of all time. So I'm going to go to Connor. He's going to kick us off in the tennis world currently on what is the best rivalry in tennis.
Yeah, I mean, tennis rivalry wise, and Bennett can try to help me with what he knows. Tennis as a rivalry sport isn't as large. You're coming off maybe a decade or 2 decades of the big 3. So, I mean, you have some of the greatest players in tennis. Now, Djokovic is still playing, but he's
It's
not,
not the same.
He's
I
not.
mean,
I don't
He
think
made
he
it
can,
to the semis in Roland
I
Garros,
don't
but
think
it's
he
not
can
the same.
contend for a final Grand Slam ever again. I just don't think he can.
I would agree with that.
Maybe, but I am so doubtful. I think currently, right now, down goes the sign, is Alcaraz and Sinner. Top 2 players in the world. Both play extremely differently and are, personality-wise extremely different and bring the most energy to the sport.
Have they
Would you-
played against each other?
They have several times.
11 times.
And
11
I
times.
don't
What's
know
the
what the
split?
record is.
7-4 Alcaraz.
Okay, is Alcaraz like number 1 in the world right
No,
now?
he's number
2.
2. So,
Who's one?
so Sinner. So Sinner, and they're both 20.
They're
Two?
young. They're young.
Both
Who's
22.
got more
they're,
wins right
They're
now?
a year over me.
Pretty
think.
sure
I think
Sinner.
Stad, they're close to your age. Like they're multiple time
Wow.
Grand Slam winners.
I
And
mean, what the heck is wrong with me, man?
well, that's like Coco Gauff is younger than me, and she's the women's number 2 in the world. It's like okay,
Wow, that's impressive.
What's her name? Naomi Osaka? Is she number
Osaka.
1?
No, she's been out of the top 5 for a long time.
I felt so bad for her that one time she won a major and like all the drama with Serena Williams, and it like took all the
All the
press
attention off of her?
and
Yeah.
attention away from
That's one of like the
Osaka.
biggest negatives.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Who has more wins?
I can't find total.
Grand Slam wins. Okay, let's see. If I'm remembering correctly, championships. Alcaraz has 2 Wimbledons and 1 Roland Garros, and Sinner has 2 Australian Opens and a U.S. Open.
So are they 3 and 3?
Sinner has 3 Grand Slam titles, 2 Australian Open, 1 U.S. Open.
Come on. And what you got, Alcaraz? I mean, it's going to be electric. I mean, Alcaraz is the only person in the world that can challenge Sinner.
So are they about to play in the French Open Championship?
Yes.
Okay,
And Clay,
awesome.
Clay suits Alcaraz's game because he's just that much faster.
He's only
but-
2-1 on clay against Sinner, though. So it's
Right. So it's still going to be a match. Like, Sinner is one of the most punishing players from the baseline, and it doesn't hit a shot. Like, he is statistically hits the right shot every time, which is so hard to do on a tennis court.
It's hard to do in any sport.
Right. To make the right choice, doing it thousands of times in one match.
Right.
And, always taking the statistically correct choice and doing everything right. I just think Alcaraz is more physical, and it suits his game. The clay suits his game more. How many?
Alcaraz has 4 Grand Slams,
Okay.
a U.S. Open, 2 Wimbledon, and 1 French Open.
Okay, so I just missed his U.S. Open win. Okay. Yeah, but that's the tennis world. I mean, besides those 2, there are some like smaller names, but they're dominating tennis.
Who do you think is going to win tomorrow?
Sunday.
Sunday, yes.
Alcaraz.
Sunday. Sinner's on a tear, dude. He's fresh. I think Sinner takes him in 5. It's gonna be
it's gonna be
crazy.
close.
It's gonna be crazy. A crazy match.
Okay.
But I think Alcaraz has had a tougher side of the draw. I don't think
he's
Sinner's
more
dropped.
tired.
Sinner's dropped maybe like 1 or 2 sets. I'm talking about that off the top of my head. I have no clue.
Yeah.
But yeah,
He won his semifinal in straight sets today.
against
Yeah.
Djokovic. I mean, yes, and that's not a knock on Djokovic. Djokovic, obviously arguably the best tennis player of all time. He's just old. So, yeah.
All
Let's
right.
go to another sport.
So, me and Stad have the same opinion on what is the greatest rivalry in sports currently, and that is Ohio State-Michigan. Michigan has won the last 4 face-offs. Michigan won the national title last year. Ohio State won it this year. There's been a couple, scuffles between the teams before games. Fans, obviously the fans create. College sports in general just create the best fan atmosphere. Although Oklahoma City did a great job in the NBA Finals the other night.
Sure.
Would like to shout out Oklahoma City. But I think Ohio State-Michigan in football right now is the best rivalry currently within sports. Stad?
All sports, pro, and
All
college.
sports. All sports right now. And I think we're about to talk about how pro sports have kind of fallen off after Stad hits whatever he wants to say.
Just my thought process behind agreeing with this point is the pageantry that goes on with Ohio State and Michigan, and like Ohio State fans never typing the letter M in their tweets and stuff like that, or in their like Instagram posts or stuff. Like, I just feel like it's an all year thing leading up to one football game. Like, and
100%.
And I think the broadcast do a great job every year. Gus Johnson does a great job every year. Like, it's just there's so much momentum behind it, and you could argue that there's so much momentum behind it because of the coverage.
Right.
But I mean, I think that's part of what makes college sports and sports in general good.
They're
is
also like
whatever
always
it's-
super good, right? So there's
Yeah.
always a lot riding on the game.
Yeah.
It's not like we look at a lot of rivalries now. Like one team like sucks, right? And now like Ohio State, Michigan have been top tier in college football for a while now, and I think that's what makes it so good. I mean, Ryan Day just won a national championship, and we were talking about firing because he keeps losing to Michigan.
Yeah,
2
and
years
that'd
ago.
be my one concern with like naming it the best rivalry, because I think to have a good rivalry, you have to have significant competition. And though the games are close, I mean, Michigan has beat Ohio State. What is it, for 4 years straight now?
right.
But,
I mean,
let's look at the all-time
Ohio
series
State.
here.
I mean,
'Cause it's
Ohio
kinda
State
like-
just won the national championship. They were in the playoff the last 4 years. Michigan hasn't been in the playoffs the last 4 years. Like,
Well, besides when they won a national
right.
championship.
But like, I mean, it's there's a lot. Good gosh, this freaking sign. There's a lot like riding on each and every one of these games. Like it has been very competitive. I mean, none of these games. I think Michigan handled them pretty good. Aiden Hutchinson's last year at Michigan, but I mean, it's been the best. And I mean, we look around like pro sports. There's no rivalry.
All right, here, correct me if I'm wrong. They're the one who started the planting the flag trend. Like, it was
No,
them.
that was
No?
Baker
That was-
Mayfield.
yeah,
that was Baker
Oklahoma.
Mayfield.
Okay, so that's Oklahoma. But
Yeah.
who
Or no,
is-
no. You're right.
'Cause, like-
Ohio State did it at Oklahoma's field, and then when Baker beat them in the Rose Bowl, I'm pretty sure he ran a lap around the field and then stabbed it.
I see.
But then, like, since Baker did that, it's almost every like rivalry week, almost every
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
game
been
does
totally
it, and it's
overblown.
almost a brawl now.
Yeah.
every game.
There
You're
were like
well, this is
4
no fun.
fights this year or this past
But
year.
I feel like the Michigan and Ohio State one is like just that much more intense.
It is. I
Yeah.
totally agree. I mean, Ohio State is like I'm pretty sure top 5 biggest stadium too. Like there's so many fans, and like Stad said, like those two sides hate each other. I think the hate between two sides in sports is falling off on a lot of other rivalries.
I will say close second, Army Navy.
That's
Ooh.
That's a dark horse, too.
That's
It's
a
a
dark
dark
horse.
In my
That's-
opinion,
yeah.
dude, Army Navy's right there. So a little bit of for you, Bennett. Michigan leads the all-time series 62-51. So it's pretty
Okay.
close
It
with
is pretty
6
close.
ties. Michigan has the longest win streak, but this was back in the early 1900s, and then they're currently on a 4-game win streak. So I mean, it's closer than we think.
Okay.
I agree.
But,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
mean,
like
well-
Army Navy. Like Navy went on a 14-game win streak, and then Army went on like a 5-game win streak. So I
Yeah.
mean, in rivalries, you're going to have stuff like that, and I just think it just adds to it.
And you
Right.
don't think that's necessarily not healthy for a rivalry?
No,
I think
because
it is
then,
healthy.
like, let's just say Ohio State wins this year, it is that much sweeter and that much bigger coverage
Yeah.
and around it, and it's
But like there are so many rivalries across the nation that like one team, like you said, is so much better.
well, yeah,
that
when
the
it reaches a certain point,
Okay.
yeah, like
You know what I think about the Army Navy? That's like brotherly love right there. That's like tough brotherly love. Like that's
Yeah.
like, you say, and like you're the little brother of this rivalry, whatever. Like that's a true like we're in the same organization, but we
It's
beat
so
you.
cool.
Like that's sick.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
got to be so much more intense.
I've got potential, might be going this year.
I remember you
Oh,
saying that.
wow.
I'm
Oh,
gonna hold,
that's cool.
I'm gonna hold old Shaner to that, but we might be going to that, and dude, it's gonna be so cool.
That'd be
It's gonna be
dope.
so
It'd be
cool.
awesome.
Not a lot of throwing, but a lot of wishbone,
But
triple
it's just
option.
good old football.
but it's run you into the
Just-
ground football.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, you talk about like other college rivalries specifically. I mean, I would love to talk about Carolina Duke for hours and hours on end.
For
but
sure.
like it's been said on several, other outlets and people have talked about it since Coach K's retirement.
it's just not
Just
the same.
not there. It's just
It's
not
just
there.
not the same.
Now, in other sports, like that's part of the other college rivalry. Like, do I think other Ohio State and Michigan sports teams hate each other just as much as the football team? Yeah, I do. And I think Carolina and Duke will never get along in any sport, and it's always going to be a big
See,
rivalry.
but here's my thing. I think Carolina and NC State's the rivalry in football. Nobody cares about the
100%.
Carolina Duke game in
No,
football.
100%.
but you have the bell in
Okay,
football.
yeah, we
That's
have
a really
some-
big
but-
deal.
Right, but like if we're talking about best rivalries in sports, we know about it, but if we go
Yeah.
around talking to SEC fans, they got no clue what the bell is when you play Duke
Sure.
in football.
In my personal
Sure.
opinion, if you surveyed 10 Carolina fans, 9 out of the 10 of them would say I'd rather beat State in football than Duke.
that's because
100%.
we've lost to State.
but still,
Recently.
it's still a better rivalry.
I agree.
NC
No,
State's
I
football
100%
program's
agree.
better.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
And I'm very mad that we lost the bell last year.
But it's
after
almost
having
like-
it for so long because
Right.
I love the bell. Like I think that's
There's
like
still
one
a
of the greatest
pride
parts.
within it, especially for yourself. I mean, being a
100%.
Carolina guy, you go
Out
there.
of I think maybe because of the past recent years, since I've been at Carolina, past 3 years, the Duke games have been absolutely electric. Like my sophomore year, I wasn't there, but I had friends at the game who, when we kicked the game-winning field goal and won the game
Rushed
in
the
double
field.
OT, I mean they jumped the wall and were on Keenan.
yeah,
like,
I was
with the field.
I was on the field. Yeah,
There you go. The Stad was there. So I was in Rome, Georgia, playing a tennis tournament. But
you gave me so much flack for that. You were like, you're storming the field against a 6-win Duke team. What are we doing? I was like, dude, everybody else just started.
Yeah,
running.
that's,
But,
that's
like, it's
another
Duke.
thing
Like,
that's
that's another-
totally overblown is storming the field, in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
So like,
we didn't tear the goalpost down though. We didn't find
That
it.
would have
Like,
been
we didn't get fined.
atrocious if y'all would have done that.
do you
Because that
think
was,
that's-
I mean, that
do
was
you
the
think-
year y'all had a great record too, right?
Yeah, it was May's senior year.
By
Yeah,
that time,
right.
we
So
had
it
dropped
was
a couple
like-
bad
we-
games.
yeah.
Do you think there's an appropriate time to do something like
100%. I mean, 100%. If it's a game that means something, Duke Carolina doesn't mean anything. Y'all should have won that game, right?
Yeah.
It was a great field goal, right? Let's celebrate it. Let's go home about it. But like, I think the post game talk right there, or the next day talk, is like, hey guys, like, way to come back and win the game. But like at the same time, like that's what we should have done from the beginning, right? Like when you should handle business the way you're supposed to handle business, except especially with the team that y'all had that year. I mean, if you've had a year to line up to make the college football playoff within the past few years, that was that year, in my opinion.
Yeah, we were 6-0,
100%.
ranked 10th. 2 things about that. One, it wasn't a game-winning field goal. It was a game-winning missed 2-point conversion by Duke.
Okay, my
So
bad.
we were up 47-45, and they missed a 2-point conversion in the back of the end zone.
I just
And
remember
then-
screaming bloody
Yeah.
murder in a Checkers parking lot, and the lady that was serving us like was scared because all these Carolina kids were like,
yeah. And then the second thing, it was Duke's third string quarterback in that game.
Right.
Grayson
Exactly.
Loftus.
So, I
like,
mean,
it should have been a blowout in my opinion, and it would taken the
100%.
double above.
His
double
opinion
above.
means more than mine in this conversation because diehard Carolina fan, soon to be
Carolina
Carolina alumni, soon to enroll in Carolina.
I mean,
But
I
I
just
just-
enrolled at the university.
Well, right, but you're going to start
Soon to be student on campus.
Yes.
There you go.
I just think there's definitely times that are appropriate, right? Like when
Yeah.
Chris Davis ran it back on the punt or on the
Auburn's
missed
gonna
field goal.
win the
Right.
football game.
Like I think that's 100% appropriate.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, I mean, Carolina Duke when Duke sucked, like why are you storming the field?
And,
it's
like,
your,
to your-
it's your
valid take.
job to win
so,
the game.
so obviously that's football. What about basketball though?
Yeah, if we're moving back to basketball, which is the
Basketball's
main
tough
Chapel
sport.
Hill.
Basketball's tough because it's. I mean, I'm a huge student section guy. I mean, I love being in the student section, but basketball is tough because you can't get out of the way, right? Football, like you can get out of the way and you can navigate to a locker room easier than like when you storm the court in basketball. Like those
Oh,
guys
okay,
have
okay, okay.
nowhere to go, right?
Yeah.
They don't like.
Filipowski couldn't get anywhere,
Right, yeah. I mean,
Hurt
that's
his- hurt his
stupid.
knee.
Like he was,
Golly.
it was the
Tisk,
ankle
tisk,
actually.
Filipowski.
And then he
Those
does a
Deacons
windmill
just
off of the
destroy
ankle
him.
the next game. But like in basketball, like when they storm the court, like football, it takes a minute, right? You have what, a 8-foot jump down, 6-foot jump down, depending on
Yeah,
the
and then you
stadium.
got 50 yards to run.
Right. So
Yeah.
football, you have time. Like it takes time for students to get out there. Basketball, it takes them like 5 seconds,
Yeah.
and then you have players from the other team that are like in the middle of it, and they can't get out of it. Right. Like a coach can't go out there and get them, right? Because then he's going to get stuck out there. So I think basketball is a little harder because it doesn't take any time for them to be on the court.
Well, what about like rushing Franklin Street? Do you think that's warranted in
Oh, yeah,
this?
of course.
Like, is that rivalry still strong enough to warrant something like that?
I would say yes.
yeah,
just because,
100%.
like,
I mean, that's like a tradition. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think the all-time basketball series is closer than the all-time football series. So, like, going back to his point about like,
Basketball's
losing the
completely
bell.
different with Carolina and Duke.
Okay.
Yeah. His point about losing the bell in football, I was more mad just because Duke stinks and they hadn't beaten us in 5 years
Yeah.
in football. Like, that was the thing that made
Like
me
what
more
Connor
mad
said.
than just
Yeah.
losing a rivalry game.
Yeah.
But for basketball, it's like, I mean, arguably for a stretch there, they were the two best programs in all of college basketball.
For sure, and it's like a pride thing. I mean,
Right.
for Carolina and Duke guys, I mean, it is a pride thing for who wins that game.
I mean,
that's completely different than football. I don't
Yeah.
think football means anything for those schools. I mean,
I wouldn't say
Carolina's
means
Well, I don't
anything.
mean it.
doesn't
I mean,
mean
it
as
means
much.
something.
right, but like if we're talking about the scale of football and college football, Carolina and Duke are like
No, yeah,
not
I agree-
close
I agree with
programs
that.
to the
Oh,
top of
100%.
that,
Oh,
right?
No, yes.
No,
So,
I
yes.
will 100% always watch the Duke Carolina game now as a student, and I will always be extremely invested in the outcome, regardless of what
Right.
it is.
As you should.
But yeah, no, I just think I look at the photos. I wasn't on Franklin Street on coach because I was an incoming freshman the year they made that run to the finals. And like I know people who were there, and like I've seen photos, and like Sutton's on Franklin Street has it posted above their door, and it says Coach K's retirement, which is like in all the shirts and merch. So sick. Nothing will be cooler than that because of the history, and I just don't think the history. I mean, it takes time, obviously, but Hubert and Shire, it's not as.
They're just not, yeah.
And I think this leads us into like our next, like talking about these Yankees, Red Sox, Lakers, Celtics, Carolina, Duke. I think the identity within the teams has changed so much that the rivalries aren't the same, right? Duke doesn't have those like, I mean, y'all, I mean, you can test me on this. They don't have those like Christian Leitners, like JJ Redick, guys that you just don't like, right? Like, I mean, you don't like, I mean, you don't have a dislike to Paulo Bencaro, right? Like, you don't dislike that guy.
So
I mean, you
here's-
could, but you
here's
could find
my
a way.
thing. Here's my thing, and I honestly, it kind of pains me to say this, but like Cooper Flagg is a great example.
How do you not like
Yeah,
that guy?
dude,
Plays
Hubert-
hard,
Hubert
does
was great.
everything.
As soon as he got that blue collar work ethic, he's so good, and he goes to Duke. It's just like, what, you can't, like, nothing he
Right.
did, like he wasn't tripping Steven Santa Anna at the Greensboro Coliseum
Right.
like Grayson Allen was.
Right.
Like,
So like, and that leads us like Yankees, Red Sox, right? Like I don't, as a Red Sox fan, like I don't hate Aaron Judge, right? I hate A-Rod, right? I hate A-Rod. Like A-Rod sucks. But like they also don't have anybody that like they really hate for us, right? We don't have like a, I mean, you could argue we kind of still have that personality, but we don't kind of have the kind of blue collar, rough neck, like back in that early 2000s run. Like
Gomes,
we've
Dustin
got,
Pedroia.
we've got flow, we've got beard, scraggly. I mean, we look like a band of misfits. And then you have Yankees, high and tight, no facial hair, like. That identity's gone, right? Lakers, Celtics, like there is nothing there anymore. There's no history in the NBA, I don't think, anymore at all. And so, especially with Chapel Hill and Duke, you know, on the Chapel Hill side, right? You don't have like the same kind of like mold that Roy built, right? And I would agree, like those big men, right? Athletic as crap, great point guards, like they don't have that. Duke doesn't have the guys that you hate, like.
So what has caused that drift on the NBA, college
So
basketball?
I have an answer for the Duke Carolina thing,
Okay.
and I'm gonna say transfer portal NIL area.
I agree.
Oh, 100%. That's where
Because
I
you
was
don't
going.
have those
ACC
guys that
opening
have
up
been
and-
there for ages that you just dislike, like Grayson Allen, JJ Redick. They were there for
Loyalty,
4
stuff like that.
years. All the Plumlee brothers, like all that.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Did college basketball players have to stay for 4 years, or no? Has it always
No,
been
no,
that?
no,
Like,
no.
so
There
these
was-
are
there
one?
was never
they,
one.
they told MJ he had to go to the league and he wanted to return.
Okay.
Not really,
Okay.
but like that was the MO.
But if you're talking about like a
Dean
rule,
Smith told
it's
him
just
that. Yeah.
you can go whenever you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has that like increased in recent years, or does you guys
No,
know?
it's actually gotten lower. Most guys
Oh,
go
okay.
after a year or two.
Okay,
Not
interesting.
most, but it's more popular to go than versus when you had guys stay 2 to 3 years.
And with
Okay.
all like the overtime stuff and the European circuit, like there are guys that just go do that out of high school, never sniff the college realm,
Right.
and then go to the NBA.
Right.
Interesting.
And when it comes to like Yankees, Red Sox, I mean, why I think I think the game has changed, right? You know, you used to be able to hit a guy with a 93 mile an hour fastball in the back, but like you can't hit a guy with 100. You can't do that anymore. Like it's, and you also, those guys don't have the exact, like you can't, the biggest thing when you try to throw at a guy is you can't miss. You cannot miss. Like
Okay.
you have, if you're going to hit him, you better hit him. If you miss, like it's just like, it'll start this whole thing and it'll make it look like you're doing it. If you just
Yeah.
hit him, like that's a better way to do it. But like when guys are throwing 102 now, like you can actually hurt somebody,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so I think that's a component that's changed. And I think overall in pro sports, like when it comes to taunting or talking at like or saying things at other players, that's just less tolerated in general, right? You have more fines.
Oh, okay, I
You
see.
have more
Yeah,
rejections with that
when was the
stuff.
last time somebody rushed a mound and started a fight?
Oh,
In a Major League
in
Baseball
a major
game.
league game.
I
That's an
think it was
interesting question.
The Yankees Red Sox guy, I cannot remember his name. He was a Yankee and he had like the bloody lip and he got thrown at. and he
Austin.
ducked under- Yeah. Austin.
Yeah, that was in. I mean, that was when Joe Kelly played for us because Joe Kelly was
Yeah.
pitching. So that's like 20. I actually have the date right here. That was let's go fights. That was
It hasn't-
2018.
Yeah, short answer. It hasn't happened in a little
A
bit.
long time.
But that I mean I don't know if that's the last one, but that's a I mean
That's the most notable that
Yeah.
I can think of. That's just off the top of my
in
head.
recent
but-
history.
yeah because around that time you had Bryce Harper with the guy from the Giants, Nolan Arenado his last year in Colorado. That was a storm. You had the Royals pitcher who and
Yordano
Manny
Ventura.
Machado. Yeah, and Manny Machado.
Tragic thing that
Yeah,
happened
that's
to
super
Yordano
sad.
Ventura. But like this is a little bit of a tangent. I'll go quick. But like one time he got mad at Mike Trout for a line drive that he hit back at him and like threw at the next guy. How is Mike Trout going
Right.
to control that?
Right, yeah.
Which,
guy
if
ma-
you wanna
that
pick a
guy
fight
made
with
me
Mike
mad.
Trout, like,
that
good
guy
luck.
made me mad. But like obviously very tragic death, and he was a great pitcher.
He
But,
was.
But to your point, like it doesn't happen as often.
Right. And in the NBA especially, I think, I mean, I will go to the grave unless they fix it on this opinion. Like, it's soft.
It is
You
soft.
can't say anything.
Yeah.
You can't do anything. Like, you can't, like, I mean, if you want to get in each other, they're grown men out there playing. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's entertainment, right? That's why they're out there. But they're grown men competing in a game that they love and they want to win. Like, they're going to get a little chippy, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you go to any level. If we go to the local men's league, it might get chippy. My dad got chippy in a local men's league and mom made him stop playing. Like, I mean, I'm just
Great
like,
White.
it happens, right? Those things happen. And I just think because it's not tolerated at all. And I'm not saying a great rivalry is dictated based off bad blood, but it definitely adds a component to it, right? Like, obviously, like you brought up earlier, you want a rivalry where it's, wins and losses
Yeah,
every
it's
year.
competitive.
You don't want a dominant, right? Like, I mean, Virginia Tech, Virginia Tech won like 30 years in a row. Like, I mean, that's like,
Yeah,
do I
it's
hate
too- it's too
Virginia?
far.
For sure, hate Virginia. But like, do I care? No, I know we're going to wake up and beat Virginia until, Pry showed up. That doesn't happen anymore. But besides the point, I just think that level of history, the level of bad blood, the level of what is allowed to be done when playing, I think it's so changed. So I think a lot of history has been taken out. But
I
when
think
it
if
comes
we're so go ahead, Bennett.
I think the largest culprit is growing, like, especially in conferences. I think just growing conferences, and what made rivalry special was kind of their close
That's a
knit.
good
Like
point. conference realignment.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
a
we're
really
not
good point.
we're not
That's a great
playing
point.
state twice
Yeah,
in
that's a
basketball
problem.
this year.
That's
That's
going
a
to
problem.
worsen the
agree.
rivalry.
Just where college sports in general is going is kind of creating that divide of like you're not getting attached to players, you're not getting attached to certain teams now.
Right.
Like
100%.
like Oklahoma and Oklahoma State having to like jump through a bunch of hoops just to continue their rivalry that literally
Yeah.
is named
Yeah.
and has a trophy. Like that's a really good point, Bennett. A lot of that stuff is getting in the way.
I'm
I think-
curious how college football. Sorry,
No, you go
I'm
ahead.
curious
Go
how
ahead.
college football look once they put the cap on it next year. But
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, like, I think the rivalries aren't necessarily headed in this direction, but rivalries for big sports schools. Like, two schools on this list, Michigan and Chapel Hill, Carolina. Like, when I play Michigan anything, like, well, I wasn't playing, but at nationals for club tennis, I was there getting very chippy with, like I was saying, for stuff that, doesn't always matter. But we were playing Michigan. And, two massive sports schools, both Jordan schools, both Nike, like, history. And not like it's club tennis. When
Yeah.
was the next time we're going to play Michigan? Probably never, unless we run
Super
into them
cool you
in a
played them.
crazy. Right. But it was one of the loudest and most insane matches I've ever been a part of. And I was standing on the sidelines. And it was incredible to beat them because they were so annoying.
Right.
But like that stuff, like if we move on to the next segment, like all time, I mean, yes, I'm going to stick with Chapel Hill and UNC because I'm a UNC student, because I despise Duke with every fiber of my being. And like in anything I do, like I've had to face Duke in plenty of like club tennis stuff. I worked for the Daily Tar Heel for about a year, and they do rivalries against the Chronicle, which is Duke's paper. And I left the DTH this semester, and I left 2-0 against Duke, and it is like one of the proudest things that I can say. I have a photo from our football match.
Yes, you do.
It's a super cool
Like,
photo.
Yeah,
It's a great
and like
photo.
we won that game. I caught a touchdown in that game. It was fantastic. And then I helped we win in basketball later in the winter. And like I got to leave the DTH Cron matchup 2-0, and I'm extremely proud of it.
Yeah.
And like I will always hold that over Duke's head.
Connor against Duke Chronicle, Daz Newsome against Miami.
Right, but it means something to you, and in that level, it meant. I mean, a newspaper battle, like
Right.
who cares,
Two
right? But,
journalists out there,
it
like
means
journalists out there
something.
doing
Yeah.
something.
And I think
Yeah.
in so many pro sports, like, I mean, does it really hold any weight anymore? And I mean, like even in high school, right? TBS,
Yeah.
BCA, it means something. I mean, at least to me.
Yeah,
And
no.
several people, and TBS hypes it up way more than BCA does. BCA does not care.
And
But-
that's a good point too. Like proximity is a
Right.
big thing
I
in
mean, Duke
rivalries.
is
and
Duke.
Duke
You can
Carolina-
see
and
7 miles away.
Right, the
That's
one-
crazy
100%.
close.
the Yankees Red Sox one that we're going to talk about, because I'm going to give Gib the floor because you're probably a little bit more
Go
qualified
Sox, baby.
to talk about this. But like that's again, it's proximity relative to pro sports. I
Right.
mean, that's why Dodgers Padres gets chippy. Like
Right.
that's a thing.
Right.
So. But give
And
me your
that adds to Bennett's point of
Yeah.
conference realignment. Like,
Yeah.
why is UCLA or Cal in the ACC? They're not on the Atlantic
Exactly.
Coast.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's going to have a rivalry with Cal on the Atlantic Coast. Like, I
Right.
just
Right.
old Golden Bears.
Yeah. Can't
So
stand
give me
it.
All right.
give me your spiel on Yankees Red Sox because this is your
Spiel.
all time.
yeah, all
I'm
time.
a huge Red Sox fan. Huge Red
Disclaimer.
Sox fan. Hate
Wait,
the Yanks.
you like the Red Sox?
Go Sox, baby. Go Sox.
Episode 2.
All right.
White
Check
Sox?
the jersey.
Red Sox. So I got some numbers for us. So 2,320 total matchups. Yanks are leading that. In the regular, those are regular season matchups. In the regular season since 2000, the Yankees are leading that 238 to 203. But in the playoffs, the Red Sox are up 3-2 in series since 2000s.
Wow.
We've got 4 World Series since 2000s. They won 2009, lost in 2001. So, I mean,
And
going
then
back to what
lost
Bennett said.
last year.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. Lost and then lost last year. So I think it's the best rivalry ever. I think it was when, before these past couple of years, we had an identity, right? It was literally like blue collar, redneck, rough it up. We were a pain in the butt. Yankees were on this high pedestal coming out of the late 90s. They had won a lot. I don't like to talk about their World Series during the World Wars because who cares? Like Ted Williams was in, fighting and, we have their guys winning World Series, but who cares?
It was a 40s, 50s, 60s comment.
Right. So when we're talking about
Tell us more, Gib.
like what we had in the early 2000s, where we're facing each other in the playoffs, we're facing in the finals to go to the World Series in 03, in 04, right? Pedro Martinez was a deeply hated. Pedro Martinez had his back, like his teammates' backs, right? Like he's not afraid to hit somebody if if you mess with our guys, right? And we weren't afraid. I mean, Pedro Martinez throws down their, a 78-year-old coach because he threw a racial slur at him. Like, heck yeah, I support that. Like, do I support throwing a 78-year-old on the ground? On day to day, no. But in that situation, throw him on the ground. Like, heck yeah. A-Rod, I hate that dude, right? Like when Baratek punched him in the face and took him down, I was like, yeah. Like I wasn't even born yet, but like
yeah,
in the idea, I'm like,
this is
let's
all
go.
from the comeback. Like how much weight does that have to you as a Red Sox fan, even though you weren't born?
It's huge, dude. Like it means so much. I mean, when you're born into a fan base, I'm sure y'all can attest to this. Like a lot of the great memories for Carolina and Duke, not in our lifetime.
Oh, 100%.
But you're kind of like woven into it, right? And then when I have like my dad, my grandfather, like I have generations of Red Sox fans. And so when I get to like, when I'm in that, right? Like I'm a part of it now. When I see A-Rod on the MLB Network, I'm like, freaking A-Rod, I'm changing the channel. Like I don't like A-Rod. I can't stand him. But like,
what about Jeter?
I love Jeter. I love
Is that
Jeter.
the only Yankee that you love?
No.
Also, Jeter didn't do steroids, so there you go.
So, yeah, I love Jeter. I like Judge. I liked Didi Gregorius back in the day. I guess not back in the day, but I mean, it was 2016 era in a way.
High school, middle school days.
Well,
No, that's middle school days.
Yeah,
for me.
middle school days for me too. And elementary school. And then, I mean, like today, like Aaron Judge, like I said, doesn't bother me. I mean, I was a Cody Bellinger fan before he got there. So, I mean, I like Cody Bellinger. But I can't, like, there's no guy on the roster I hate, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Garrett Cole's fine. I don't totally love the guy, but he's fine. Like, but, I don't hate any of these guys. But in the past, I mean, I hate A-Rod. I hate Pastrana. I can't stand those idiots. Like,
So you think it was the best rivalry of all time, just based on its history, not necessarily what's happening now, but
right. I mean, I think
yeah, it's the
I
same
think a
with the
lot of the
Duke Carolina
rivalries.
thing.
Right. We
Yeah.
just knocked a lot of them, but I mean, I loved the Lakers Celtics. I mean, going back and watching documentaries and watching Larry Bird and Magic play,
Yeah.
like that was epic. Especially since it went back to college, right? Like they played each other in college. Like, I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But Red Sox and Yankees is the best because it's competitive. I think the NL East, those two teams are best teams in baseball for a long stretch. There was such an different in identities between like who our players' personalities were, who were they, who their managers were. I hate their manager now, Aaron Boone. I hate him. Say it on camera. Hate's a strong word. Hate Aaron Boone, but
I can't. He's a Reds guy.
yeah, well, he's a Yankee at heart. He hit a bomb for the Yankees that sent him to the World Series in 03. Pretty sure that was 03. Pretty sure that was 03. But
check that.
I
don't
mean,
know.
I don't like it.
I don't know what fan base I was necessarily born into because college-wise, I wasn't born into Carolina. Like
Right.
Stad, you were
Yeah.
born into, let's say, the Reds,
Packers.
Packers,
Reds, Packers,
and Carolina.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, because
Bennett
that was who Dad could watch on TV. Speaking of the Reds and the Packers, like they were so good in the late '60s, early '70s. That's just who he watched. So that's who he started cheering for.
Right.
And then obviously Dad went to Carolina. So
That's kind of like me with the Warriors. Like,
Yeah.
it's just who I started watching.
Like, I mean, you're going to be, I don't know if Peace will ever get televised or up there, but you're going to cheer for Peace.
Hey, we had a game
forever.
on ESPN Plus.
Right,
I'm gonna
okay,
tell
there you
we had
go.
an
What
exhibition
sport?
against Davidson in men's basketball. We lost by 40, but dang it was fun to watch.
Right?
I
Like
bet.
when you go to Hampton Sydney in the fall, you're going to find a different love for Hampton Sydney.
Right.
And you're going to love
Right.
it forever. Like,
Yeah.
I hope that you find that love for Carolina because I certainly have it. And but I don't know what I was like. Bennett and I were not born into.
Right.
we were not.
But then
I-
you're,
Like,
you're still
especially
woven
not
into it.
Carolina. Like I was not born an ABC fan.
No,
anything but. And I remember like the transition. I mean,
Dude,
my
it was
family can talk
It was
about
immediate.
It was night and day, bro.
We joked
But,
that he
like-
walked down the steps getting the admission letter that he got in and was a Carolina fan.
That's funny. But I don't know who's our that we got.
I'd say
Clemson.
we would blame Clemson. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
like I despise South Carolina.
yeah, no, we hated South Carolina.
You want to talk about your Bills that you decided to be fans of?
Okay.
I got family in Buffalo. That's why I'm a fan. My original team sucks now. He was a Seahawks fan, and then he's
Can
like,
I-
"Oh,
can I
but
tell
got-
you this
I got
story?
family
Can
in
I defend
Buffalo."
myself,
He was
please?
also,
I
he
got
was
family
also
in
a Green
Buffalo.
Bay. He was a
Can I
Green
defend
Bay fan for a temporary period.
Can I
of time.
defend
I
myself,
got
please?
family in Buffalo. Oh, dude, I got family in San Diego.
Oh my
Maybe I'd be a
God.
Padres fan today.
Okay, let me defend myself.
You might
You
wanna-
got family though in Buffalo.
You might want to mute his mic while you defend
Just
yourself.
put him on mute.
There
Okay,
you go.
Gib is currently muted. Okay, I do have family from Buffalo. Gib.
family in Buffalo. case anybody doesn't know.
grandparents are from Buffalo. The first ever NFL game I actually watched was the Seahawks Super Bowl lost to the Patriots. I remember it
So
vividly.
then you were like, "Go Bills."
Shut up.
Okay, I take this back. Put his mic on so he doesn't scream.
Your mic's back on.
I know it is. Continue.
Anyways, I watched the Seahawks, and as a kid, I said I was a Seahawks fan, even though I didn't watch any NFL. And this past year,
You just said you watched the game.
okay,
The Super Bowl. Everybody watches the Super Bowl. Can't be
I'm
quiet.
gonna keep
Let the
talking.
man talk.
The past year, 2 years, I got more into NFL with the Bills.
So you
and I
chose
beca-
the Bills. Like you chose the Bills.
I
Who's
mean,
your
you
NFL
chose the
team?
Warriors. It's the same thing.
Hey, you're right. You're right.
There we go.
You're right.
Come on,
There we
Bennett.
go. I'm not knocking it, but you switched.
you are.
No,
You're
no,
not.
no. But
You
what
are
I'm saying
knocking
is,
it.
what I'm saying is, I started watching NBA. I've been a fan all these years, right? We sucked 3 years ago. I was a freaking fan, right? Your team started sucking. We're going to the Bills.
That's not what. Did you listen to anything I just
You
said?
just compared my experience to the Warriors with your experience to the Bills. So I'm explaining why that is. I mean, it's somewhat right because we both watched the teams and we both liked that they were winning, right? That's why you obviously didn't pick, oh, I'm going to watch the Jets today, and then you were a Jets fan. But I'm saying, like, I've been a Warriors fan. Like, you started being a Seahawks fan in elementary school.
Yes,
when
and then
both-
I just stopped watching the NFL because I didn't watch it at all.
Right. And so then you just woke up and chose the Bills because your family was there.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, oh, my family's from here. Let's start watching this game. We're good. I enjoyed the games. I learned more about the team,
Right.
learned about the history.
And I don't even include your fandom as a bandwagon.
Oh, thank
because
you.
they
I
haven't.
appreciate that.
But, I mean,
you
he's
haven't
gonna
won
be-
crap. I
okay.
can't make
Yeah,
that
but
bandwagon.
he's gonna be
I
a
just
fan
like
for
giving
the
you
rest
crap
of-
because it just came out of the blue. It was because my family lives in Buffalo. Like,
Well, they lived in Buffalo.
all
Tense is
right, even
important.
better. They don't even live there anymore. You don't even go to Buffalo anymore.
Stad and I are enjoying the argument, guys.
You still snacking on your Bunt Cake?
my popcorn.
That was
but- okay.
must-see TV right there.
40 years down the road, nobody will question his Bills support because he's
Not
going to
at
be
all.
a Bills
I will
fan
because I'll
for
be
the
here
rest
40 years down the road.
But he will have supported the Bills from there on out, and he's like
Yes.
committed to this team now.
Yes.
Good
We made
or
a bet
bad.
on it. We made a
Good
slap
or
bet. Do you not
bad.
remember this?
I do remember it.
Yes.
What
Thank you.
was the bet?
That if I am ever not a Bills fan, he gets to slap me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No matter, and I can't. I can do it whatever I want. It's
Yeah.
like How I Met Your Mother. Those slap bets.
Yeah.
We said 3, right?
Sure, why not?
All right.
I'm not going to not be a Bills fan.
I hope the Bills end. I hope there's some way the Bills end. He has to change.
All right, Bennett, who's your all-time greatest rivalry?
The Bills versus the Super Bowl.
4 straight, baby. Wide right.
So
Patty
funny.
Mahomes.
It's so funny.
I mean,
She's
it's-
tragic.
This Bunt Cake is
It's
not
just
sitting
any
well, dude.
playoff
I'm
game.
laughing way too much.
Any important playoff game, we suck in. It's a fact.
Poetry.
I mean, this year was so sad. I know this isn't like all time, but like I remember
I think you
watching.
can include an all time. I mean, Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes, I think, will go down as great quarterbacks. You're going on runs right
I
here.
think-
You're
I-
really good.
I
Like-
think
you
we
mean?
have to win one against them in the playoffs to
I
actually
agree.
make it a rivalry. You know what I mean?
I
Because
agree.
we're 4-0, so like it's just a beatdown at this point.
0-4.
0-4, yes.
Thank you. Jeez.
Wait, you're not putting Patrick Mahomes in the GOAT conversation?
No, he is. But I mean, he'll never be the GOAT.
Yeah, it's
in my
true.
opinion. Never. Ever.
I mean, I was
Absolutely
saying that sarcastically because I don't really like him as quarterback, but
Anyways,
what?
I think hold on.
Is he not up there for you?
Are you saying you don't like his
Him? Or are you
talent,
saying that
his
he's not
no,
one of the
he's
best?
very talented. He's one of the best.
Where's he
I
on the
don't
GOAT?
think he goes into the greatest football player of all time.
top 5? Is he in top 5?
So wait.
I don't think so.
Let's not
Who's
get off on
better
a
than him?
tangent.
Who's better than? No, we can go on a tangent for this.
This
Who's better
whole
than him?
episode's been a tangent.
It's true.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, Tom Brady.
Yes, we all agree.
Yeah,
on
I
that.
100%
Yes.
agree.
Awesome.
Yes. Are we saying strictly quarterback, the greatest
Yes,
of all time
We'll do-
quarterbacks?
yeah, we'll do quarterbacks right now. I
Oh,
mean, I
okay,
think
then
Tom
yeah,
Brady's
he's
undisclosed the best ever.
Yeah,
In
he'll
any-
probably go into the top 5 just because of the success he's had early on, and then I mean he'll probably continue to be successful and the impact he's had on the sport. Like, I
What
don't
do you
know,
not like about him?
it talks like Kermit the Frog.
Okay,
That's
but
what you
like
don't like
about,
about
No, no, I don't like his media presence and the way he holds himself.
okay, what
in
about the way he
media.
plays the game? What do you not like? Like, what makes him not an undisclosed talk for the GOAT? Because I think he's already
He's
in
best
that
friends with the refs, but
Right, he complains
From the Bills.
that
From the
no,
Bills fan.
Same
I
wavelength
do think he complains a lot, and I think it's football. It's rough and tough quit complaining. If you get
He
hit, get back
flops
up.
all the time.
Dude, yeah, if somebody hits you, you
All
know,
right, Bills fan.
pull the Andrew
Settle
Luck.
down.
Pull the Andrew Luck, you know, get helped up, say good hit, big fella, and then move on. Like,
Yeah, except
like-
Andrew Luck never got up. I mean, that
Oh,
dude went down, he got hurt, and his career was over. So, yeah, maybe you can get back up. Andrew Luck did not get up.
Oh wow, you just made it sound like he just died.
I mean, he did it, bro. Did he get back up?
I mean, yeah, he's the GM at Stanford now, but I
Right,
mean,
the GM. He doesn't play.
okay.
at Stanford, he's like a 50-year-old man.
Right, dude, but his NFL career was
Nah,
not
he's,
any
he's
good.
dude. He's
'cause he
still
got
young,
hurt.
dude.
Oh, is
Andrew
he?
Luck is still
Yeah,
super
but
young.
still,
Yeah.
he could have been a A-Rod, Drew Brees type guy. He's in that era.
Right, okay.
But he just
So
didn't get up.
one of the best parts about Tom Brady is that he wasn't afraid to get in your face. He was going, if something
agree.
happened, he was going to get in your face and tell you about it. And he wasn't afraid that if he was
So
a
you don't-
quarterback, Patrick Mahomes is going to run off the field.
You don't think Patty has that, like, edge to him? And that
I don't know, like he's game time ready. Like he'll go, and
he's
he'll
right,
do what
but
he
the-
can.
right,
He'll
but
do
the
what he
edge,
needs
the,
to get a
like-
win. But by all means of like having your teammates' backs and being the ultimate competitor, which is what I think makes somebody the GOAT, is that he does not have that. He has what it takes to win. He has the X factor. He doesn't. If we want to call it the edge, he doesn't have it. I think he's going to sit there and complain and whine when things don't go his way.
Okay, two things. One, I feel like I adamantly disagree with that.
Really?
Like most of that take,
Okay.
including the media thing. I mean, there are some things, but like anyway, that's beside the point.
I think it's more on his wife with the media than
Yeah.
himself.
We'll get
Andrew-
into the best QB of all time in a different episode. I think that'd be a good topic.
It would be fun.
Yeah, I think he's definitely in the discussion, like Gibb said. Like I think I think you're doing a disservice to football to say he's not in the discussion. But Andrew Luck played for 6 seasons. He did not
Really?
play in 2017. He played
was hurt,
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18.
And he's
He's 35 years old. He retired in 2018. So if you do the math, he retired when he was like 27, 28.
right.
Jeez.
I did not realize he was that young.
He didn't get up. So, I mean, you know, shout out to Andrew Luck. I mean, you could argue he's top 3 in the greatest college quarterback ever. I'll give him credit when credit is due. But in the NFL, that dude, yeah, he might have been tough neck, but dude's neck wasn't as tough as what he was saying he had.
He's not crippled.
That's not what I'm saying. Like I'm just
but
saying, like he was
injury is
like,
why he had to stop. Like he medically retired.
Yeah.
Right, yes.
I mean, out of the 6 years that he played, he was an all-star 4 or 5 times.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
4.
I mean, he was unbelievable. He just
He played
the
for
body
the
wasn't
Colts.
unbelievable.
or Pro Bowl, excuse me.
Yeah.
All right.
I believe
so.
that concludes it for episode 3 now, right?
Yeah,
time's
we're
flying
3.
by.
Yeah, we got to keep going, man.
Little sneak peek. We're gonna try to get some interviews coming up next for y'all. It's on the table.
Stay
So
tuned.
Let's
stay
take
tuned.
a
If y'all
yeah.
have any suggestions for what you want us to talk about, please put it in the comments. Please DM us on whatever you want us to talk about. So I think that's it.
All right.
Get to class on time.
Peace.